Hi everyone, in the previous video, we looked at versioning, impact analysis, domain pipelines, and release packages. In this video, I'm going to focus on automatic deployment in Flow Studio. Up to this point, we were working from the more foundation side of things, where the integration logic is being prepared in a strong and governed way. Now we move a step further into the goal layer, where the goal is to make data easier to understand and easier to consume from a business perspective. Here, as you can see, I have my 3 physical mappings in place. Now during development, you always have the option to generate each of them separately. That is useful when you want to validate the logic step by step and make sure everything matches what you expect. After generation, you also have the option to preview the code. As well as preview the template. A really exciting aspect is that there is zero manual coding involved. Everything is seamlessly handled by VaultSpeed. But for this demo, I want to keep the flow simple and show the more complete deployment approach. Instead of handling each mapping separately, I'm using a domain pipeline and packaging everything through a release package. This is useful because individual physical mappings give us ETL transformation logic, while the domain pipeline adds the orchestration layer. So by generating through a release package, I get the transformation logic for all 3 mappings together, along with the workflow needed to run them as one coordinated process. That's the real value here. During development, you can validate things individually, but once the work is ready, you can bundle everything in a controlled way for easier promotion and execution in the next environment. At this stage, we are also focusing on data consumption in the gold layer, where the integration work is already done upstream and we can shape the data into something the business can actually use. So now I'm going to generate the release package. And you can see the tasks being executed in the taskbar and wait for them to run successfully. Once it is generated, we go to automatic deployment and can see that now we have the ETL transformation logic as well as the FMC orchestration workflow. From here on, I'm going to deploy the ETL logic. Now that the deployment is complete, let's go to Snowflake and validate what we have. As you can see, the table is still empty at this point. That is expected because the deployment only makes the code available. It does not populate the tables by itself. For the data to actually load, the orchestration needs to run successfully. The same idea applies from a business consumption perspective. I've also prepared a dashboard here, but since the underlying tables are empty, the dashboard is still not showing any data either. So the next step is to run the orchestration in Apache Airflow. Here in Airflow, I'm unpausing the DAG and triggering it to run. Perfect. Once the run completes successfully, we can also look at the graphical overview. Now let's go back to Snowflake and validate the results again. Here I'm opening the same table as before, and now you can see that the data has been populated successfully. So this confirms that the deployment was completed, the orchestration ran successfully, and the data now is available in the target tables. And now, because the data is available in the gold layer, we can also come back to the dashboard and see the business-facing results. So this is the full flow of automatic deployment in Flow Studio. We start from governed mappings, package them through a release package, deploy the generated logic, run the orchestration, and then validate the business-ready output in Snowflake. Thanks for watching.